Hey guys, what's going on? It is Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today we are talking about the Canon RF 135mm f1.8. So let's go ahead and dive into this right now. Starting off with price, we're looking at $2,099.99 on B&H, Best Buy, Canon, and Adorama. Amazon only had used listings when I was researching this for $2,249. So take that into consideration. The construction is fully plastic. It has an 82mm filter thread, a plastic control ring, weather sealing, an autofocus and manual focus switch, stabilization switch, and 2 customizable buttons on the lens body itself. It has 17 elements in 12 groups and 9 aperture blades. It has 5.5 stops of image stabilization, 8 stops total of using it on the Canon R3 or R5. It also has Canon Nano USM focusing motors, and it does focus pretty quietly. The weight, Canon claims, is approximately 33 ounces or 2.1 pounds or 935 grams. When I weighed it, it was 2 pounds, 2.6 ounces. The aperture range goes from f1.8 to f22, close focusing distance. So Canon claims that the close focusing distance is 2.3 feet or 0.70 millimeters. For me, I got 26.5 inches from the sensor plane to Master Chief's helmet, so it's roughly around the 2.3 feet. It is not compatible with the Canon RF extenders, the 1.4 or the 2 times, so can't use it on that. All right, and let's go ahead and dive into the image test. At f1.8, you get pincushion distortion, heavy vignetting, but the center is tack sharp, and the corners aren't too bad either. By f3.5, the vignette has disappeared, and the entire image is sharp edge to edge. By f7.1, the image is still incredibly sharp edge to edge, and at f16, we start to see the image soften due to diffraction, and at f22, the corners are noticeably soft. As for chromatic aberration at f1.8, you notice a very slightly magenta and green color fringing, but you really have to punch in to notice that on highly contrasting edges, and by about f2.8 to f3.2 is when the color fringing disappears. As far as the bokeh goes, the bokeh is soft and has a dreamy-like feel that everybody is always looking for. The bokeh balls on lights are oblong or cat eye shaped. The bokeh on this is beautiful. And for long exposure photography, if you're looking to do any long exposure photography with this lens specifically for astrophotography, you should get some decent results at f1.8, but your shutter speed will be fast. Around 1 second is what I clocked it in at, as anything more than this will produce a lot of star trails. And as for sun stars, they do look pretty good at around 16 points, but if the light is really bright, you'll just get muddled sun stars and it'll make them blotchy. If you plan on using this lens for astrophotography, it is really heavy, number one, just keep that in mind. But honestly, the only way you're really going to get very good images with this lens specifically, so maybe if you want to do like deep sky astrophotography, or something along that lines, you're going to want a star tracker. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be an extra cost. But I mean, if you're buying a $2,100 lens, you probably maybe already have a star tracker if you are into astrophotography. So let me go ahead and talk about this lens from the point of view of which I used it. I rented it for about a week from borrowlenses.com. And basically I used it on a shoot. So I had a friend, she was looking to have some portraits with her and her kids done, and I will say that 135mm f1.8 is incredible. It produced some really amazing images. I love the way that it compressed the background, number one, and number two, the f1.8 aperture is just extremely fun to play with at 135mm. Now you won't really be able to use this for like street photography. You can get some interesting shots with it, but I think in like larger cities, it's going to be one of those, like, if you want to do candid street photography of like, you know, people sitting on benches and parks and like walking through intersections and stuff like that, I think it'll be pretty decent. But I mean, if you want to do like structural, you could get some intimate shots with it. But other than that, I mean, you're not going to get really anything spectacular out of it. So keep that into mind. I think that this lens is probably best suited for people that are looking to do portraits of families and stuff. You get a really nice background compression, plus the bokeh at f1.8 is incredible. You could probably do some deep sky astrophotography with this lens, but if you're looking to just go out and shoot stars, I mean, you're only getting a 1-second shutter and it's not long enough to capture enough light, so then you got to bump up the ISO. I use the R5, and really, I mean, even though it's good on low light, I really don't like to push it past 6400 or even like 10,000. So that's just my opinion. I mean, you could get away with using it for that stuff, but I think if you want to get the best results, you're probably going to want to use a star tracker. As far as wildlife photography goes, I think on larger subjects, you should get some pretty decent shots, especially if you're able to distance yourself from the subject a little bit, obviously like a deer or something. I think for smaller stuff like, you know, bird or wildlife avian photography, probably not going to be able to do a whole lot with it because, I mean, 135 is just not long enough. Even 200 millimeters is really not that long when you really think about it when you're doing wildlife photography. Even my 600 RF, the F11, was still decent. I mean, it got you a lot closer, but even that I felt just wasn't enough. And on larger subjects, it was okay. But I mean, for birds and stuff, I think you probably want at least 800 to 1,000 or 1,200, but that's just my opinion because birds tend to fly pretty quick, so you can't really get too close to them. Anyways, so realistically, I think this lens is probably best suited for people that are into portrait photography. You can probably get away with doing like product photography and stuff with it too, so just take that into account. I mean, it's really not too well for anything else. Like I said, I mean, might be able to do some street photography and get like some intimate detail shots, or if you want to do like, you know, people walking through intersections type of street photography where you're just capturing life type of thing, I think you could probably get away with using this. But other than that, I mean, for 2,100 bucks, if you're a professional portrait photographer, it is definitely a good thing to use. It is expensive, but I mean, you know, you get a lot of glass for 2,100 bucks. And it is really, really sharp. So anyways, hopefully you guys like this video. If you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you didn't like this, also give it a thumbs up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. I'm Jordan, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.